Welcome back to Crimson Ed Talks. I'm your host, Jamie, and today we're going to do a deep dive on Amay Aggarwal's incredible new startup, Anglera. What is it? How's it going? What inspired him to get this venture? We're going to dive into all these questions. Amay, tell us, what is Anglera?
Anglera is building an AI native operating system for e-commerce. What this means is that we're building intelligent agents for e-commerce companies to run their operations more efficiently.
Now, can you give us an example for your typical person who's listening to this who maybe isn't as well versed in things like e-commerce or AI? Can you kind of walk us through how someone might use this product day to day and just really help us contextualize that?
So the problem that we're actually solving, we actually experienced at Uber firsthand. And so that's really what inspired some of the start. And so maybe I can walk through that end to end. So at Uber, we launched a grocery delivery business where we sell products from many retailers, from many brands. And actually getting these products on board onto the system so that they're eligible for sale is a very manual task. We actually had hundreds of human agents doing this manually. It's a very important task because firstly, you actually need to list that product for sale, and customers need to understand everything about that product in order to make a shopping, decision. They also need to be able to search that product. We also need to be able to rank that product and show people that might be interested in that, right? And so actually having good product understanding unlocks search and unlocks ranking and unlocks personalization, which then all improves sales for the business. And so that's really kind of the opportunity. And the problem is it's a very manual process. So what we actually do is help people onboard products onto their platform and understand everything about the product that they're selling, which then converts into better sales downstream.
Fascinating. Okay. And, when you think about launching this business, many folks struggle to think of a burning pain point. And what I think is really interesting here is you actually saw the problem firsthand at a company, you spun out to then tackle and build. And I think that's really powerful compared to somebody who sort of sits there and dreams up almost a problem that they haven't personally felt, because at least you've got that, firsthand intuition for it. What's it been like actually developing Anglera, the product?
Yeah, it's been great. So I have a co-founder that I'm working alongside with. He's also one of my good friends from Stanford, and then he also worked at Uber. So we've known each other for a long time. Actually, developing out this product, we followed a lot of Y Combinator's advice, and so actually going through that program was very useful for us in terms of figuring out what should we build next. And so I think we're focused on two things. One is really talking to our customers and figuring out what exactly do they want, rather than to your point, thinking about what people want and then being incorrect. The best way to actually understand that is talk to people that are actually using the product, getting feature requests, and then making sure that those kind of translate to everyone else. And the second part is actually getting back into building, and all of the classes that we took at Stanford are now coming into use because we're actually building a product from ground up, and not just thinking about it, but actually going in and developing out the tooling, developing out the evaluation, and it's a really interesting way to actually apply a lot of the learnings that we've got, both from our time at college as well as our time at industry.
Now, AI is ultimately an incredibly fast-paced landscape right now with this rapid innovation. How do you stay ahead of the curve as a startup founder? How do you make sure that you're innovating in the space faster than anybody else, and you ultimately will emerge as the winner in this rapidly growing domain?
I actually think as a startup, you have a huge advantage that you can move way quicker than anyone else. And you don't actually have to go through a lot of, process to actually figure out, is this a good opportunity? You can kind of just build it and then actually put it out into the market and see how people respond. Right. And I think that's really a superpower as a startup. And no one has the answers to these questions, even if they've been in industry for 20 to 30 years. In fact, their answers may even be incorrect because they're biased to how things used to work and not how things will work. And so as a startup, I think the biggest opportunity is get your product out to market as quickly as possible, see how people respond, see if people actually end up using it, how they use it. And a lot of times it's different to how you expect them to use it. Your initial hypotheses will only be adapting over time based on the voice of the customer. And so being able to capture that, really working closely with the people that you're serving, understanding their pain points and their needs, and actually hearing it from them is the most valuable thing. And that's really what's going to help you innovate and stay on top of the trends, is putting that stuff out into market. No one knows if it's going to be useful or not until you actually try it.
And when you think about kind of what comes next for Anglera, you've built an MVP, it sounds like you're talking to customers, gone through fundraising. What are the next big milestones you're going to lead the business through as founder?
Yeah, the next big milestones will be continuing to develop out our product, getting more customers on board. And essentially, a lot of our milestones are around revenue. And I think, again, YC really pushes this onto us, or encourage us to do this. They encourage us to set revenue milestones because it's really hard, again, to think about, what should I build next? But if you have a goal that you're trying to drive, which is revenue, that can really help you inform that decision making. That hey, if I do this, maybe it's going to unlock a new customer, rather than make an existing customer or add a feature to an existing customer. So really thinking around that and using that as our decision making framework. A lot of our milestones are based on getting additional traction. And then that's also going to unlock us to grow quicker. It's going to unlock us to hire more people, bring more people on board. But we really want to grow in a way that's profitable, sustainable. And I think that's really what's going to lead to the long-term success of our business.
By the way, that last piece that Amay said around profitability and sustainability, I mean, one thing that I'd say is so many young founders don't care about that, and it's all good during certain go times. But we saw, for example, during COVID, a lot of tech companies get smoked. So having that, frugality where you're both able to raise capital, heroically, given the excitement and your background as well, but also then be really efficient with where you spend. It's really important because often, where money is going and having a good impact is such a powerful indicator for you as CEO. But if you're just blasting money in all directions, it's hard for you to sort of figure out, where true north is. So I think that discipline will be very, very helpful. We're super excited to see where you take Anglera, May, and we're going to be catching up with you at different stages on the adventure. Congrats.
Thanks, Jamie.